there, Sean Terry here, Flip2Freedom.com, and I would like to invite you to a live workshop that I'm doing on November 3rd at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, and it has been one of the most requested workshops that I could do. I mean, literally, we get inundated with people, and this is the biggest thing. Deal structure. So here's the thing. Let's say you get a property that comes in and you don't know how to structure it, where there's no equity in the property. Or what if the property's fire damaged? Or what if you have a property that's fire damaged and slightly fire damaged, and that there is it's in pre-foreclosure, and they have a second mortgage, and there's no equity, right? So what do you do with those particular deals? So we get asked that all the time. I do coaching calls every 2 weeks, and on those coaching calls, they have all these deal structure questions. So what I decided to do is do a live deal structure workshop where I'm going to do it on Thursday night here, and you're invited to, where I am going to go through the top 15 potential deal structures so you have an understanding on exactly how to get a lead that comes in and be able to turn that lead into revenue. So the first one's probate. People don't understand how probate works, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go in depth on probate, where to find probate deals, what to market those probate deals, and then when those probate deals come in, understanding the process of how that works and how to turn that into huge $15,000 to $30,000 paydays. Now, MLS listed properties, right? What do you target on MLS? How do you work with the realtors? You know, do you pay commission? Do you not pay commission? What do you say? How do you get those deals under contract? What type of due diligence time frame or inspection periods do you need? So we're going to talk about that. There's a huge amount of inventory on the MLS, but we're going to show you a cool little hack that you can get deals that nobody else gets. Houses with little to no equity. You get a property, it's worth $200,000, and they owe $185,000. They owe $190,000, $10,000. You can't do a wholesale deal with that. Well, yes, you can. We can make $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 on that deal, and they are huge. Buyers love these types of properties. So, house with little no equity, I'm going to show you how to essentially turn those basically dead deals that you would throw away into revenue. Seller financing, same thing. You got a seller, wants to sell, and they own the house free and clear. What do you do? How do you structure that? How do you make an offer that's going to make sense for a buyer to come in and purchase it, where you can make a spread? Okay, we're going to talk about that. Pre-foreclosures. Pre-foreclosures are pre-auction properties where a seller hasn't paid on their mortgage, their house is about to go to auction, the bank is going to take it back. These are some of the best deals, because a lot of the sellers, they are looking for someone that they can trust that can help them through the process. Well, guess what? You can help them through the process, and you can make a fortune doing it. Pre-foreclosure properties are an incredible way to generate massive amounts of revenue, but you have to know what to do with the payoff. You have to know what to do with the reinstatement amount. You have to know what to do with the trustees that are managing that process, and you got to be able to know what to do with the time frame. What do you do if there's multiple mortgages in place? You got a first and a second mortgage. What do you do with liens on the property? Well, we're going to talk about that in this live training. Fire damage properties. What do you offer? How does it work? How's the insurance work with those particular deals? We're going to show you exactly that. Property and tax default. Okay. So a seller has not paid taxes on the property. These are some of the best deals. Why are they the best deals? Because a lot of the new mortgages that have come out in the past 15 to 30 years, these mortgages are impounded, meaning they collect all the taxes and insurance and they pay it on your behalf, right, to protect their interest in the property. Well, properties that are in tax default are typically prior to that, where there's deferred maintenance, the properties aren't impounded, they typically owe very little on the property, and they're essentially going to lose that property for what is owed on that tax default. It could be $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $7,000, very low amount, and you can come in and negotiate with them to get those deals under contract and make a huge amount. Divorce is crazy. It's a very unfortunate situation. Obviously, it sucks, and there's some people that obviously maybe have been through a divorce situation, but when you have an asset, you have a house, and you might have both parties on the mortgage, right? And now they got to come together and sell the property. It becomes a negotiation between these two, right? And you are the middleman to try to make that happen. So I'm going to show you where to get a divorce list, where to get a tax default list. I'm even going to show you where to get a fire damage properties, but divorce, we're going to show you how to negotiate and work with them. Properties with liens. So let's say, and these are the typical where, people just give up on them, right? And remember, the bigger the problem in this business, the bigger the problem, the bigger the paycheck. So when you get a property with liens, I love it. I love it because you can negotiate those liens for pennies on the dollar. We got this one deal that we got under contract, and I thought I was going to blow the whole deal. The seller actually purchased a water filter from 20 to 30 years previous, and there was that lien that was still on the property. We had to go hunt down the lien holder that happened to be in Northern California. The guy who owned that lien was in his mid to late 90s. We had to talk to his daughter to try to find the file to be able to get the payoff, and it wasn't $20,000, $30,000 for a crazy water-filled thing that they were selling way back when, but it was a matter of $250. And we ended up getting that deal for a huge amount of profit because we were able to solve that problem. Now, there's a lot of deals that come up like that. Subject to, how do you deal with subject to? Subject to is where you keep the loan in place, but the property transfers for a little amount of money. You got sellers where they owe $200 on a house and the house is worth $230. They just want to get rid of it because they want to transfer it to another state. You come in, you can give them $1,000, $2,000, and that property will transfer to you. There's things you can do and you can't do, and you got to kind of watch out for. But this is a great way to not only build a portfolio, but to generate revenue. REOs, real estate owned. These are properties or bank-owned properties that are on the MLS where sellers or the banks are trying to sell the property. You can get some pretty good deals right here, but you got to act fast on them, and you got to know what you're doing with these deals. Lease options, okay? So now you've got seller finance, right? You got deals right down here with the seller financing, wherever that was. Right there, seller financing, where deals with no equity, but then you have lease options. What do you do in that particular case? So a lease, you use a rent to own. So you can do a rent to own on that specific property, but you can flip that, and you can flip that lease, right? And I've done a ton of lease options before. It's a great way to be able to, I personally like doing the house with no equity, using a specific agreement for sale, land contract, or contract for deed, but lease options work really well if a seller does not want to go down that path. We've got for sale by owner, right? For sale, how do you deal with those? How do you find those leads? How do you negotiate with them? How do you talk to them? What do you say to them? And all that type of stuff. We talk about that. Tear down properties. So you get a property, and it's in a neighborhood, but it's trashed, it's boarded up, it's nasty, right? So you have to value the property based on the land. Well, how do you do that? What's the land to home value ratio? And you've got to tear down the property, right? So you got to take that into effect, and who you're going to sell it to, right? You're going to sell it to typically a home builder that's going to buy lots, that's going to come in and put a new home there. So you have to get all those numbers correctly and be able to negotiate it in an intelligent way to the sellers. Financing structure, right? How to get paid. Different ways to finance the particular deals. Now, typically, most of all these are done on a wholesale flip, whether it be an assignment or a double escrow or using transactional funding. But we'll show you specifically different financing structures so you can get these deals done quickly and you can turn them into massive amounts of payday. So we call this the seller's code, how to crack the code on these deals. Now, the cool thing is I'm going to show you all these different ways, and you'll be able to understand the process, and it's going to open up. Think about all the leads that come in, all the marketing you do, all the mailing you do, all that stuff comes in, and you're going to wonder, what the heck? Half of them you're going to throw out because you're looking for that wholesale deal. Well, what about all the other transactions that you're just missing out on? I mean, there's tens of thousands of dollars in these type of deals if you understand how to structure them. So join me Thursday night at 5:30 Pacific Standard or 8:30 Eastern Standard, and I'm going to go through this deal basically structuring workshop, and I'm going to tell you, like I said, people have been asking about this for a while now. I finally just said, fine, I'll do it. So, and it's the ability for you to become fluent in deal structure. So that's what we're going to talk about Thursday. I can't wait to see you. Register now. Now, okay, here's the deal. If you are on the blog at Flip2Freedom.com, click the registration button below. It'll take you to the registration page. If you are on YouTube, there's a link below, right, in YouTube, right there in the description. Click the link. It'll take you to the registration page. If you are on iTunes, right? If you're on iTunes, go ahead and go to Flip2Freedom.com/sellers code. Flip2Freedom.com/sellers code. There should be coming across the bottom here, and just type in that in your URL, and it'll take you to the registration page so you can register. We have limited amount of seating for this, so so after you listen to this, go register right now, and you want to definitely participate. And then if you're watching on Instagram, this portion on Instagram, go above here and just click the link in the bio. So go to Flip2Freedom.com/sellers code. Get registered for it. It's going to be a blast. I'm going to answer questions. We're going to have a good time. And I can't wait to see you on the call on Thursday night. All right, guys, take care and God bless.